All right, good morning, everybody. It is the 24th of March, and we are at our White Plains City School District Reopening Committee meeting for an update on this, the first week of phasing in the district, kindergarten, 9th grade, and 12th grade. So definitely an exciting week. Lots happening. The good news, I think, out of the gate is that things are really going well. The facilities look excellent. I want to thank everybody in operations, everybody at the building level who were working so diligently and hard to make sure that the facilities were ready to roll for our grade levels as we're coming in. I also want to take a minute to thank all of our Board of Education members and our leadership team members for touring the facilities, connecting with faculty and staff members and children, and just checking in with everybody. I think that was really a great opportunity for all of us to continue connecting and checking in. So I just want to thank you for taking time out of your days for doing that. The board members, dropping everything on a dime and coming out. Thanks for that. And we will keep doing that as we continue on with our phasing and visiting with our children after the spring recess. Spring recess next week. First and foremost, anyone who's celebrating happy, healthy holiday filled with love and hopefully rest. I hope you get some rest and certainly enjoy the spring recess if you are off next week. If you're going to travel, and this goes for everybody in our community, if you're going to travel, please, please, please take the appropriate steps to keep yourself and your loved ones safe. Of course, have fun, have a blast, have a great time, but please make sure that you are being safe. When you return to New York, if you have questions about the steps that you need to take, please visit the New York State Department of Health website, fill out the traveler form. It will let you know what, if anything, you need to do. Of course, you can always reach out to us here if you have questions, but you can take care of all of that when you get home or even before you leave, just in terms of making plans on when you come back. It is critically important that everyone in our community recognizes and understands that we are not out of the pandemic, not by a long shot. Yeah, things are definitely better. We're moving in the right direction. But as we introduce more children into the facilities, the possibility for increases in COVID-19 identification at school is gonna go up. Now, so far this week, we have identified cases. I know Maggie will speak to that in a moment, not more so necessarily than what we've seen before, but here's what I'm going to tell you. They could have been avoided at school. Why? Because when we contact trace, we're able to go back and see what was going on in these particular situations. If you have someone at home who is sick, not feeling well, symptoms that could look like seasonal allergies, do not send your child to school until you are sure you don't have COVID-19. If you have an outstanding COVID-19 test, meaning you're waiting to get the results, do not send your child to school in person. Remote learning is available. You can coordinate with either your teacher or your principal and take advantage of that. Because here's what happens. When a child comes to school and there's a question at home related to COVID-19, and then we find out that there's a positive case at home, it impacts the child's entire class. Nobody wants to be the cause of a class having to quarantine. No one. And I know people don't do it on purpose. So we have to be cognizant of this because we want to keep moving forward. We don't want to take steps backward. So you have remote available to you, utilize it if somebody's not feeling well at home. And that goes for adults as well, of course. So that's really, really important, particularly as we are going into the spring recess and we're going to continue phasing the week of April 5th and then finishing up the week of April 12th. We really need everybody to be vigilant and recognize that we don't want to bring COVID-19 into the facilities. So we'll send out a reminder this week for everyone and also a travel reminder. And that way, hopefully, we're all on the same page and keeping everybody safe and secure. I think for me that really wraps up the updates because I know our subcommittees, operations, curriculum and instruction, social emotional, special education, and human resources all have updates as well. And I know that there are probably some other updates too. I do want to first go to Dr. Longobardi just in case there was anything. Hey Doc, how are you?
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, so I wanted to reiterate, like Dr. Ricka said, we are not out of this by any stretch. It hasn't gone away. It never went away. We saw less cases when we were doing all that we needed to do to be safe. And with allergy season, we will not be assuming in our doctor's office that everyone with a runny nose has allergies. There will be lots of COVID testing going on. And then we can take it from there with people who have allergies, but it will not be just write a note for my child that they have allergies and they don't need to be tested. So we try to get that expectation out to parents that is just how it is, because the symptoms are the same as the symptoms of COVID. And it is, as Dr. Ricka said, impacts many, many more people than just the child and their family. So thank you for stressing that.
Thanks, Doc. We'll keep that message going all throughout the academic year too, maybe every couple of weeks or so, just to keep it in everybody's minds, that's really what's going to help us keep our classrooms in person throughout the remainder of the year. I do want to just thank Rosemary Eller for being here and Cheryl Brady for being here. Rosemary, just so everybody knows, Rosemary had some pretty intense surgery, oral surgery, and she's still recuperating, but she's still here. So thanks, Rosemary, for being here with us. Operations, I want to start off with operations. I know you just had a meeting and there are several really important updates. Good morning, Ann.
Hey, good morning, everybody. I just wanted to say, reiterate again what Dr. Ricka said. The buildings look incredible. We did tours of 6 of the buildings the last 2 days, and the work and effort on everyone's part was incredible. They look great. So, thank you to everyone at the buildings, the custodians, everyone who's had a hand in it. It's just incredible. Just a quick update about facilities. We're getting, actually on 322, we got our high school lunchroom tables. We're also expecting an additional order of barriers. Our tents order is there and ready to go, but the state has required that we have to get structural drawings from the contractor, and in order to satisfy their requirements. So we're just waiting to get that, and then that'll be all set. The HEPA filters will be delivered the first week of April. Frank and Maggie are busy ordering supplies for next year. And so they've moved along with that. Facilities is already starting and planning all the summer projects and working towards that. And we've, making sure that we get the kind of substitutes that we need, because there are, gaps with absences and such. So, and to help with the cleaning. Health services, just to reiterate, that, we've ordered isolation gowns for the nurses and custodians, safety glasses, face shields, if people really, require that and are going to use them. We are, clear about the quarantining. We kind of talked about that a little bit, because there always seems to be a little confusion, but even if you're vaccinated, that you still could be quarantined depending on what DOH makes that decision. And Maggie certainly will talk a little bit more about that. And we're testing, students were tested 10% each building this past week, and it seems to be going very well. Transportation ridership is up, which we anticipated. Drivers are getting vaccinated. So that's moving along. And technology, Ron had reported that he's applying for an internet connection grant that the state is offering to really get parents or students Wi-Fi hotspots. So that's really great news. So he's got that application going out and doing a survey of the parents. And that is about it.
Thanks, Ann.
Any questions?
Thank you very much. Maggie, just, I know you've been doing the testing. Do you want to just talk a little bit about what the health services staff is seeing?
Yeah, the kids are doing fantastic. I have to say, I was so proud of them. They are sitting in the seats. They're really great kids. And in the elementary school, every time that they get tested, we give them a little sticker star that they're a star for getting tested. So it has been a fantastic experience to test the kids, and the kids know that this is important, and they're willing to do it. And we really haven't had a lot of kids that want to not test. So it's been going really great. I have to say that we did get a positive from surveillance testing, but that's to be expected. And the child was asymptomatic, and we did what we needed to do. But for the most part, everything has been going really smoothly. I really have a good process. So it's going good. As
Thanks,
far as
Maggie.
quarantining is concerned, I think everybody's having a little bit of confusion as to if I'm vaccinated, I can't get COVID. If you're vaccinated, you can still get COVID. And I think that there's a big confusion with that. That's why we have the mask and we still have to distance. We do have variant strains out there as well. So we do still have to be careful, and we are not out of the woods. That's why testing and masking and distancing is still of utmost importance. The other thing with quarantining is, if you're 6 feet and you're masked and the child is masked, you do not have to quarantine because you're distanced, you're masked, and you're safe, pretty safe. But if you're dealing with like kindergarten where you're, taking care of little ones and you're going to be close and you really are not distancing all of the time, because it's impossible to distance when you're taking care of kindergartners or when you're taking care of maybe special ed children that need a little more physical assistance. Those people may still have to be quarantined. Thank you.
Thank you, Maggie. And thanks for all that hard work. I did want to just also point out a lot of back end work and configuration and planning in effect at the building levels. I want to thank the principals, the assistant principals, support staff, and of course, Sean Lewis for working really collaboratively with WPPD to ensure that traffic patterns are moving well and that we're all set in terms of crossing guards. Also, once again, reminding community members to please make sure they're obeying the speed limits around our schools and not passing buses. I know, so many people have sort of fallen out of the routinization of a school year. We really have to, and I know WPPD and Sean and everybody have been really focusing on this around the thoroughfares near the facilities to make sure that everybody gets back into the swing of things in terms of being very, very careful on the roads so that our kiddos are be able to come to school safely and then return home safely as well. Sean, thanks so much. Was there anything that I missed, Sean, there?
You know what? Thanks, Dr. Ricca. No, you really didn't miss anything, but I'll just mention a couple of things. We've been working on this since early July, August, about bringing kids back and getting the traffic pattern set and what are we going to do with all the cars that are coming. So we're constantly looking at it and trying to figure out what we can do to make it better. If parents really could just follow those rules of the road, we'd be much better off. You're going to still see us using multiple doors to accept kids and dismiss children from. We're squeezing every car we can into our parking lots. Our principals are using every available staff member to help this process along and to just be as efficient as we possibly can with our arrival and dismissal. And I noticed that because I try to be around for the arrival and dismissals, and I see our police department has been out there, they're monitoring it, and just try to keep doing whatever we can to move it along. So if parents could just be patient, follow the rules of the road, that's just going to go a long way for all of us to being safe and keep anybody from getting hurt.
Thanks, Sean.
Thank you.
Mr. Cameron, fall 2 kicked off, no pun. Our student athletes are doing an outstanding job, and want to thank all of our coaches and trainers and support staff, and certainly you, Matt. Anything for the committee? Any problems or issues?
No, it's good. It's great that, there were a lot of community members here last night. We had a JV football game. It was just good to, a lot of positive feedback, seeing all the kids out there and getting out, practicing and playing games. So it's a huge undertaking for everybody involved, especially the coaches checking the kids in every single day. But it's going well. It's going well. It's good to have the kids out there.
Great. And thanks for knocking on the wood. Dr. Hand. Good morning.
Hi, good morning, everybody. So we had a couple of meetings between our last meeting and this meeting. I met with the principals and the coordinators, and yesterday we had a subcommittee reopening meeting. So, a lot of conversation, I just want to thank all the teachers and all the teaching assistants and everybody at the school buildings, the principals, the assistant principals. It was amazing just going to visit schools on Monday. At yesterday's meeting, all we had was positive feedback of how wonderful the rooms looked, how great it was to have more children in the building, picnic lunches outside, just a great idea, a lot of energy, just a lot of positivity. So that was a great feeling. We also talked about testing. The United States Department of Education still has not provided a waiver to New York State. I know that New York State is still trying to get a waiver for testing. So we went over the regions requirements, what regions would be given, what regions would be canceled, even if we don't get the waiver, how that would impact graduation, diploma requirements, so that everybody's clear about that. The coordinators and the administrators have all that information, as well as the frequently asked questions from New York State. And at the elementary level, the principals will be working with Jennifer Hammond-King and Kathy Barpolis to design schedules for the administration of the ELA and the math test, and that's true at the middle school as well. This year, you don't have to administer the test on the same day across the board, so you can make changes to the dates of the test within the window, of course, that New York State gives you for both the ELA and for the math test. And I know that what we're trying to do is make sure that it has the least impact on students' instructional time. So that the tests have been streamlined, they're shorter, and we'll make sure that our administration really doesn't take time away from children that they need to learn. So Jennifer, I don't know if you want to share anything else about testing?
Well, we are also almost 100%, with the exception of one school, doing computer-based testing too. So that actually makes it quite easy from the perspective that the test is downloaded to the child's device, they take it, it's uploaded, done. So there isn't a lot of administrative work that has to happen once the test is finished. So I think that's going to be very helpful for our teachers and administrators, that there isn't, we're not handling a lot of papers, and it'll be a very clear process. And also, I don't know if you mentioned, Debbie, that typically it is a 2-day test, but we will only be taking the first day of the test. So it will be a multiple choice test that will be in either ELA or math. And it will, for a typical child, it will probably take less than an hour to take the 1 day of the ELA test and then the 1 day of the math test. So it will be a very short process.
Thank you, Jennifer. They've taken out the field tests, the field questions as well from the test.
I did also just want to say that we will be administering the full NISA test, which is the test that we use for determining a student's English language learner status. And it is quite important that we administer that this year to all students, because we did not get to do that last year. And it is the opportunity for students to actually test out of the ENL program, which we obviously want students to do. So we're going to figure out how to administer that to as many students as we possibly can who are eligible to take that test. That'll be in late April and May. We'll do that.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thanks for remembering the NISA slide as well. We also have professional development going on. Today we have dual language professional development. Jennifer has been running a science of reading study group with a large group of teachers. We actually have 2 sessions of that, and she's working with Kerry from the special education department on that. During the spring break, we have teachers that are signed up for Dr. Cunningham. Dr. Cunningham is a professor from Manhattanville, and she is presenting professional development on reading and comprehension in the content areas. And the last thing I have on my list is Ron and Rocco have been working with the building leaders and with the teachers to make sure that they have all their technology needs met, and they've been ordering snowball microphones and any kind of microphones or headsets that teachers need, just to make sure that as they still teach in this sort of hybrid learning environment, making sure that they're meeting the needs of their remote students and of course their larger groups of in-classroom students, that they have the technology that they need to be comfortable.
Thank you, Dr. Han. Just another piece for folks watching at home, for moms and parents and guardians. Questions are asked, do we absolutely have to take the 3 to 8 math and language art assessments? And the answer, of course, this year is no. Parents have asked, well, how can we opt our children out? You need only send an email or a note to your child's teacher or principal. The sooner you do that, if you know, for instance, today that your child's not going to be taking the assessments this year, let us know as soon as possible. From a logistical standpoint, it will help us to be able to plan at the buildings and take account and stock of who will be taking the assessments. We absolutely understand that many parents and guardians may choose this year to refuse the assessments. Considering, of course, the statements from the New York State Education Department related to the fact that the tests aren't going to be used or not going to be counted, and also the U.S. Department of Education. So if you have any more questions about assessment, you can always reach out to Debbie or me or your principals, Jennifer, anybody who's part of that process, and be happy to help. Thanks again, Deb. Any questions for Deb? All right, Mr. Pepper.
Good morning, everyone. Just a couple of very quick items. Dr. Ricca had already mentioned that there seems to be a little bit of mixed messages, a little bit of confusion out there regarding the travel requirements if you travel during spring break. Again, remember, the definitive answer is with the New York State Department of Health. Governor Cuomo has been holding some press conferences and making statements that have not been adopted yet. So please make sure you follow whatever the Department of Health requirements are for travel. In addition to that, I just want to remind everybody, if all our employees, if you do have a suspected exposure to COVID or your child is potentially exposed, you need to copy both Maggie, Nurse Maggie, and me on those emails. Nurse Maggie in her office, as the medical professionals, will let you know if you need to quarantine, and then the HR office will determine what you have to do regarding the recording of your absences, whether you're going to be personally charged or if there's any benefits available to you, and there are some benefits available under the New York State law. So just as a reminder, make sure that both of us are copied on those emails, and that's it.
Thanks, Scott. Any questions for Scott? All right. Ms. Algarden, good morning.
Good morning, everybody. First, I really want to reiterate everybody's comments about the state of the buildings. They look amazing. Probably the best part was that we welcomed back all our kindergartners, and they were just so happy to be back in school, and we were happy to see them. They were following the social distancing guidelines and the mask wearing, and it was really, Monday and Tuesday have just been really joyous in our schools. So I just wanted to say that. With regard to the mental health supports that we have in place, we want to let you know that we are working really hard to make sure that there are systematic ways in which students can receive services if they require them when they transition back. So our elementary and secondary schools are in the process, for the most part, of setting up groups. So as a student comes back, if they need support, they're there. We've increased our partnership with cognitive behavioral consultants. They're the people that we use to help strengthen our dialectical behavioral therapy skills. And we've strengthened our partnership to support our staff as well as our students, because we know that the staff is going to require additional time for consultation and problem solving. We've been redoing our DBT curriculum so that it's appropriate for our elementary students. And in addition, Andrus is beginning the week of the 25th of April to start in-person counseling again as a satellite agency at Highlands, Church Street, and Post Road. In addition, we're expanding our partnership with Andrus to other schools. Almost all our schools will be having satellite clinics, probably not by the end of the year, but certainly by September, and we're in the process of doing that as well. With regard to special education supports and services, we are planning for our summer extended school year. That will be in person. There will not be a remote option for summer. Extended school year services are not mandatory for students. And so parents can elect, if they're comfortable, to send their children in person. We'll also be running a virtual summer reading, and we'll be sending out those invitations probably the beginning of May. Again, if you have any concerns right now about your children, your own mental health, please reach out to the people in the building. You can always reach out to me and I'll forward you to the appropriate person. Any proactive information that we can have as the children transition back will be really helpful in supporting everybody's needs. And so that's it. Are there any questions? Thank you.
Thanks, Debbie. Rena couldn't be here with us this morning. She had a class that she needed to attend, but she did want me to share from her vantage point this week over at the high school. Has been very smooth. Kids are returning. It's great to see them in the hallways. And Lola, I wanted to give you the opportunity also to share your thoughts on how things have been going this week.
I think it's good. There was a few kinks in the beginning with like security guards having to tell people to scan in, just reminding people like, you got to do it, you got to do it, you got to do it. But by Tuesday, everybody kind of clicked that they had to scan in no matter where they went. So that's good. Outdoor lunch is a big hit. Everyone loves that, going outdoors. I know in the beginning we were talking about me and some of the other girls doing cartwheels and practicing cheers. So it's been a lot of fun to be able to get out and have fun and not really have to be seated behind a barrier the whole time. I know the barriers are necessary, but it's just nice to be free from them for a little bit.
Oh yeah, we get it.
Yeah. Classrooms are good. The double bell schedule is working in most parts of the building. Sorry, there's still a few kinks, but we're working them out. I think overall we're doing pretty good at the high school. I mean, Mr. Martinez, you're kind of high school man over there. But from a student point of view, it's working out pretty well.
That's great, Lola. Thank you. And we were with Mr. Bratcher yesterday at Rochambeau as well, and things are going well for them as well. You know, same thing, kinks here and there, but we work through them. And the bell schedules have been helpful in allowing students to try to thin out the hall in terms of density a bit, and also allow students to get to class a reasonable time, and just trying to be as flexible as we can. So thanks for that very much for that update, and thanks for always keeping us posted on how things are going. Emily, the principal's Daisy, I also, Ernie, wanted to give you the opportunity to give an update if there is one. I don't know that there is on end of the year type activities.
Sure. So thank you, Dr. Ricca. Good morning, everybody. Lola, you did a great job. So, and by all means, I appreciate the candor. It's totally fine. One thing that I've been telling staff, and certainly I think we had a conversation yesterday at the subcommittee meeting, is that, this is like February, like September again, right? So we're going to be working through some of the kinks, and that feedback is really important. So we're, making sure our teachers and staff are giving us that opportunity to share anything that we can improve on. I'm certainly walking around and seeing some things. We're talking about how, our students are coming in and where we're sending them before the first bell, looking at accessing courtyards in the morning. So it's constantly changing. There's some classrooms that might need to be tweaked in terms of the barrier placement and how we, spread out students. but it's all positive. I'm just overjoyed. This is my first opportunity to see this many students in the building. So as you can imagine, I'm really thrilled and excited, and hearing the teachers feeling so energized of having, a room full of students is really inspiring me, so I think it's just been a really good, solid week. We are having conversations about graduation. We're certainly moving full steam ahead. We've had some vendors that we've had a chance to connect with about some of the work that we're looking to do for graduation. We are meeting with one of them tomorrow. So a lot of exciting stuff with graduation being planned down at Laux Field, and as well as working with student activities to try to figure out other ways to provide that sense of community, but still reminding our students that it's still not a normal year. So it's trying to find that balance, but hopefully, I think Lola seems to be approving of it. So that's really the most important thing that our students are. So that's the update from the high school.
Great, thanks.
Hi, good morning, everyone. So this morning, we were actually very fortunate to welcome our new in-person students. We have a group of kids that have not set foot at all in Eastview. So the last time they attended school was in the middle of 5th grade. We were so excited to welcome over 20 students had to tour the building. We had student tour guides and getting them ready for in-person middle school. So we were really excited to see so many students come out. We were very fortunate to have a lot of our students opt to return to us on April 5th. We have over 85% of our 6th graders returning in person, which is great. We had to revise some of our lunch procedures to reduce the density in our lunchrooms. So we have added a 3rd lunch period. That information has been communicated to the students and the parents as well. But we're ready to go. All of our classrooms have been set up, and we're working on setting up all of our lunchrooms during spring break.
So at Highlands, we'll be welcoming back approximately 75% of our students. The biggest change is, again, a staggered bell schedule, which we've been practicing the last week or so and seems to be working pretty well. As you can hear, this is the 7th grade bell. So also, as Dr. Rodriguez said, the lunch procedure is going to be the biggest change for us. We're splitting into 2 separate cafeteria locations, which are noted on student schedules, so there'll be less confusion with that. In terms of end of the year activity, this Friday at approximately 1:45 is our virtual Highlands Talent Show. The link is on the webpage, so please be sure to watch because it's always great. And then the next thing that we have is on April 21st, our National Junior Honor Society induction ceremony will also be occurring virtually. So all that information's gone out or will go out to parents. So thank you.
Thanks for those updates. I do want to share with the committee and the community that as we were touring schools, but also just visiting classrooms and observing, I really need to give a huge shout out to our colleagues, our faculty members and our support staff members. It is seamless in terms of integrating the students who are remote still, and it's a handful only, right? At least in the kindergartens, it's a handful, but in integrating the students who are still remote into what's happening in the classroom, it is really, it's amazing to see. And again, so much so that even remembering, like when I come into the class and I'm saying hi to the kids, hey, Dr. Ricka, make sure you come over here and say hi to Johnny, who's remote also. Making sure that we are focusing and integrating our remote children has been a really important point for us. And I just want to thank the teachers and support staff members for doing that and making all of our Tigers feel excited and welcomed. That's great to see. Okay, any questions, comments, concerns, anything for the good of the order?
Can I just jump in and give you a quick update on the elementary level and
sure.
Specific? So we have about 90% returning students at George Washington. So I think on the elementary level, you're finding that those percentages are higher than at secondary. And we welcome back our kindergartners. They were so excited to be in the building. They were thrilled to meet their computer friends, as they call them, because they haven't had an opportunity to meet them in person. And the biggest change just logistically in the building has really been, we created a new lunch recess schedule. So getting adjusted to that. a new dismissal procedure that needed to be staggered to address the density issues in our common spaces, and new routing through our campus to allow for the cars not to impact traffic on Orchard Street. So a lot of logistic things have happened, but it's been wonderful to have them back. We had one kindergarten class going out for like a nature activity, and they brought the iPad with them so their remote learner can come, and they were like, come on, and they took the iPad out and he joined them on this nature walk to gather materials. And you know, it's all that they know, right? So for our kindergartners, this has been their school experience, and it really they're completely comfortable with it. And it's awesome to have them back and to have them here and to hear them play on the playground. It's really been great.
Yes.
The staff has been amazing, positive, upbeat, really happy to have the children back.
It's amazing how the children in the building just by their presence elevate the level of energy and excitement. Thank you, Laura.
And just one thing that I'd be remiss if I didn't say, the teaching assistants and the custodial staff make this possible.
Yeah.
If we did not have them, we wouldn't be able to manage the logistical pieces that are required in order to do this and do it safely within the parameters that we're provided. So thank you so much to our teaching assistants, to our aides, to our recess cafeteria monitors, and our custodial staff, because we really couldn't do it without them.
100%. It's amazing. You'll be standing there talking to somebody from, you know, on the facilities or operations team, and they're telling you, giving you an update, and at the same time, cleaning off a doorknob, cleaning off a handrail. Like it's a constant flow. So yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much. Any other good of the order? I always like to make sure that I thank, again, I know Mrs. Eller is recovering, but Cheryl, thanks for being here. Any updates, anything from the side of the board?
Hi, thanks, Joe. I look worse than what I sound, I think. I don't know. But, what I can say on behalf of the board is that, what I've always said, that this has been uncontrollable, right? And what we've been trying to do is control it. And the goal of this committee, the administration, and the board has been to get to this point. And I do echo what Laura said. I mean, everyone has really worked on this committee to get us here, and we're thankful for that. And on behalf of the board, we really just appreciate and thank you all for what you've done. I'm still waiting for my shirt from my new job in Frank's department. I haven't received it yet, so I can't start. But I do appreciate everything. The tour was amazing. The amount of work, just everyone going above and beyond is appreciated. So thank you on behalf of the board.
Thanks, Rosemary. You sound great too. You sound okay. So just feel better, rest.
Thank you.
Hi, Cheryl.
Hi, if Rosemary had been unable to speak, I was going to say something, but I mean, I will just add my thanks for really all the tremendous work that everyone has been doing. And, I was at one of the elementary schools, and the level of just engagement and really the feeling of almost normalcy. And I echo what Dr. Ricca said about making sure that the remote children were included, in everything that was going on in the classrooms. Also the sense that the plexiglass barriers are not confining. I was very pleased to see that there's this sense of, sort of openness in the classroom, that even though the children are, protected and there's these mitigating layers, that the children did not feel, I don't think, that they were confined in any way. So again, kudos, just to everyone, really. Thank you for everything.
Thanks, Cheryl. Hi, Gina.
Good morning, everyone. I guess I'll just throw in a parent perspective. I've had one of 3 of my children welcomed back full-time this week, and they are resilient, and I have to say I was the frantic one with the new bell schedule, but they got it together. So I apologize for being tardy as usual, but And my freshman is, he, and especially Mother Nature has been so agreeable this week to welcome back more of our students. He was just so grateful to see his friends and feel normal. And, and I think it's very helpful for them to be back full time. I think he just started struggling academically and feeling accountable. So in front of the screen, so being in person is going to go a long way. So thank you everyone for their hard work. And I look forward till after break when all three of them are in full time. So thanks so much. And I appreciate that we're continuing to do our best to include our learners at home. So thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Gina. Any other final thoughts? I would do once again, just on behalf of the Board of Education, the administration, the entire educational community, if you're celebrating, I wish you a joyous Passover. If you're celebrating, a very happy Easter, a happy spring recess. Please, if you're able to, take some time for yourselves and your loved ones. We will meet again. Reopening committee will meet again the week we return from spring recess. That I believe is the 7th, if I'm not mistaken, Wednesday the 7th. Does that sound right, Mrs. Torres? Yes, and we'll make sure that we just send you another calendar invite so you have it in there and you're ready to roll. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you so much. We're making it. We're moving ahead. Take care.